What's up, y'all? This is Jake, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Jake, what's up? And congratulations with the new single, This Is What Heartbreak Feels Like. I feel like you went 360 with This Is What Love Feels Like. Tell me a little bit about like how different this creative process for this track was for you.
Yeah, so I remember when I first made This Is What Falling in Love Feels Like, I was just trying to come up with the title as I was creating it. And I was just like, you know what? This feels exactly how it feels when I'm falling in love. And I've experienced maybe once or twice. And basically, I wanted to create a sequel to that, but I knew that I couldn't just make the same vibe because everyone would be like, oh, you're just like redoing your big song. Like everybody gets it. Like you're just trying to, mooch off the success of the first song. When in actuality, this song is the complete opposite. And I wanted to invoke that heartbreak emotion that I think people are just as familiar with as the feeling of falling in love. And so my goal was to get as far away from that feeling of falling in love as possible and invoke that emotion of heartbreak.
Did these come around the same time together, or did you like automatically have the idea of this new one?
Yeah, this new one, I had just been thinking about like, okay, where do I want to go from here creatively? And I had the idea to like, come out with multiple feelings that just like multiple songs that invoke specific feelings that I feel like a lot of people can resonate with. And this one just so happened, like I started to create it and I was like, man, I think this is the one that feels like the essence of heartbreak. Cause I was messing around with some vibes, but this one really just kind of came after the fact. And I just had that idea to follow it up with a new feeling that I can hopefully, nail right the bullseye of the target.
I do feel like you give us this feeling when we're listening to the song. In doing that, was this a track that you felt like you found yourself keeping that initial vocal recording, or in order to keep the essence of that feeling?
Yeah, no, this one I was really focused in on getting the emotion to come through my vocals specifically this time. I feel like heartbreak is such a personal thing, and I tried to make it so that you can feel the pain in my voice. I practically lost my voice while recording it, and I just gave it all out there. If anyone was in my house at the time, they probably just heard me screaming at the top of my lungs, which is kind of the vibe of the song. And I want people to be able to do this. Say they're in their car just alone and they want to express their feelings of heartbreak. They can just, instead of sing along, they can scream along with me. And so that was kind of my goal with this one.
Yeah, you gave us a more vulnerable side of your voice on this track. During the recording process, where do you feel you felt challenged vocally?
Yeah, I designed the track and picked a specific key that would be just at the top of my range to let people know and feel as though, man, this is like he's at his wit's end kind of. And so it's kind of crazy how musically you can kind of mimic that feeling by putting it in a specific key. So for me, I picked the key that was just at the top of my vocal range so that when I sang it out in my chest voice, it just felt like I was on the edge of just losing it. And it really was. There were a few moments where my voice cracked while I was recording just because it was so close to that edge.
Did you find yourself feeling exhausted like after that recording process?
Oh yeah, actually sometimes I'll even get lightheaded a little bit just from like taking it over and over and over. And I'm like, I gotta catch my breath. And it's pretty crazy.
Now I've had artists say that love songs are easy to write, and I've had other artists say that heartbreak songs are easy to write. Where do you feel, which one do you feel was easiest for you to create?
Yeah, I feel like my overall leaning is towards the heartbreak type stuff. Like I feel like that's a more overcoming emotion because that's usually the one that people remember. Usually people had just recently got out of a heartbreak or something, and it causes them to forget about the feelings of falling in love. And just remember all the terrible things that happened when you think of this or that person. And so, yeah, I think for me, I resonate more with the heartbreak side of things. But yeah, both of them were just a blast to create, and they felt really natural as I was making them.
During the writing process, did that feel natural to you? Do you feel like the lyrics were just kind of flowing out, or was this like two different songs that you felt you were trying, you would write a little bit here and there until it finally kind of created itself?
Yeah, no, this one came really naturally. As I was writing the lyrics, I had first just got down a reference of the emotion that I wanted to get, just how I sang it. I tried to execute it that way. And I was like, all right, let me try to think of the words that really are tied to this emotion. Words like you're such a fake, and I guess my lover was a snake. It's very like aggressive and frustrated lyrics, and it definitely kind of flowed with that. It just kind of made sense with my vocal execution. Like, this is what I want to say.
Now, as far as the sonics go, like what inspired you to create the sounds that you did that we listened to on this track?
Yeah, so as some people know, this is what falling in love feels like. Starts with a violin, and then there's a moment with a piano. It's really got an acoustic center to it with, like, real acoustic instruments. So with this one, I wanted to keep that flavor. So the intro now, similar type of structure as This Is What Falling in Love Feels Like, where it starts with a little melodic part, and this time I start with the piano, and then there's some strings and stuff mixed in there in different spots. But yeah, in general, I was trying to make it somewhat reminiscent of This Is What Falling in Love Feels Like, but invoke that complete opposite emotion.
Do you feel like whenever you add strings or certain instruments, do you feel like it changes the vocal ranges that you could be adding to the track?
Yeah, the violins and the cellos and all that sort of stuff that I added in there, it definitely fills in the gaps and makes it kind of feel like this is more of a dramatic moment. In movies and stuff like that, they have lots of strings and orchestras for the score of the movie, and it makes it feel really dramatic. And that's kind of what I was going for with this one. And so, yeah, as I was singing the song, it just felt like I was in like a scene and I was playing a part, so to speak.
Now, the fact that we have these two songs that are basically part one and part two, do you feel like they are kind of creating a direction for an upcoming body of work, or do you feel like these are just kind of like one-off singles that you wanted to write about, and then the body of work would be something completely different?
Yeah, so as of right now, we're toying with some ideas. I won't say exactly what's going on yet, but I am planning on releasing something substantial soon. And I've yet to really release an EP or an album, so we'll see what it actually is. But yeah, this has definitely been inspiring me recently, and there's a lot of new songs that I'm really excited about. But this one specifically, This Is What Heartbreak Feels Like, is really like, I've been super excited to get it out and just waiting, like, when is it dropping, asking my manager, like, yo, can we get it out sooner, all that sort of stuff. And so yeah, now that it's out, it's like, man, this is exactly what I've been asking for. And so yeah, but it's been inspiring me. Every time I go now to create, I have these songs in mind, and it's giving me a new direction for sure.
What made you release these singles that you have so far, like over like coming out with a body of work?
Yeah, so the truth is that early on, I had a song that blew up on TikTok, and I didn't exactly resonate with it. It was called Upside Down. It was a really cool track. It was a vibe, and I love the song. But it didn't exactly feel like me. And so I had released a few singles, and none of them were really like connecting with the type of music that I wanted to make. And then we tested out a song on TikTok. I just kind of threw it up there. I didn't think it was going to work, but it really resonated. And that was This Is What Falling in Love Feels Like. And once that happened, it felt like a piece of me was now being accepted. And I didn't really know that could be deeply possible in that way, because I felt so connected with This Is What Falling in Love Feels Like. It's like, this is the type of music I want to make. And now that I got that confirmation from people that they do accept that sort of vibe for me, now I'm really excited, because it kind of just opened up this real personal side to my music that I can't wait to share with everybody.
Would you say that like TikTok has pretty much impacted your process of kind of discovering who you are as an artist?
Oh yeah, no, it's been really interesting. I was scared that the TikTok audience wouldn't accept like some real deep art, which I felt like This Is What Falling in Love Feels Like is very artistic. It's not your wash, rinse, and repeat pop song. It's very vanilla. It's got a lot of different elements. The tempo's changing. Like, I wasn't sure how people would handle it. but to know that that audience is, there and ready for me to share like real stuff that I resonate with, that was a surprise for me, because I feel like a lot of people, when they think of TikTok music or a TikTok artist, they think of, all of the bad things. But the truth is that there's such an amazing, accepting audience on TikTok that is ready to get real good music. And so I'm really excited to jump along and release that sort of music for those people.
When you mentioned that there's so many different ranges, there's so many different tempos going on with your music, and when you're creating new material, how do you go about as far as like deciding what the cadence is going to be for that particular song?
Yeah, it's interesting, since I've been writing songs now, I guess since I was about 14, and I'm 21 now. And so there was a solid period before anything even happened on TikTok where I was just trying to be a songwriter and producer for other people. And I basically, had really taken it upon myself to dissect music and understand the theory and all of this sort of stuff. And so now, as I'm constructing a song, it's important that every single piece is cohesive, and it gives off a vibe and an emotion. And yeah, with like tempo and stuff like that, and just the cadence of my voice, all that sort of stuff, I've been studying for a while, and now it feels like I'm in the perfect spot where I can really hit the nail on the head every time. And I'm super excited to be able to release more music now, because I feel like I'm at that place where I was like 3 years ago, I hadn't had a lot of this stuff figured out, but now I feel like I'm in a better place to just, really go full fledged and release a lot of music.
Nice. And I feel like TikTok is not only helping you kind of find a new fan base, but I feel like it's also helping you with collaborations. Most recently, Jenna Raine, which I recently spoke to about the collaboration that the two of you did. And I loved hearing her side of the story, and how like you said like, hey, give me a day and I'll write the lyrics to my verse. What was your experience like during that process? And what was it about See You Later and Jenna Raine that made you want to be part of this collaboration?
Yeah, so I remember that I had heard the song on some sort of playlist somewhere, and I remembered really liking it. And her team had reached out and said like, yo, we're looking for a feature. And I was like, yo, I'll do it. And because I had just been super inspired by hearing it for that first time. And yeah, it didn't take me long to write the verse, because, it just felt like her song was her part was kind of the perspective of a girl. And I felt like I could just bring my perspective as a guy. And so it flowed really naturally. It felt personal. And yeah, it was kind of just the perfect collaboration for me. I really enjoyed the whole process.
How do opportunities like that kind of help you with your writing process when you finally sit down and start creating more music for yourself?
Yeah, it's crazy, because for the longest time now, I've just been, as I was trying to write songs for other people, it was never about me and communicating something that I feel is personal to me. But now that, as I said, like people are accepting this music that I feel personally connected with, now I'm discovering this whole new side of myself and my creativity, and all these different small things. It's making me personally invested in my project. And so like, as I'm working on this and that song, like, I just have this newfound like excitement, and it's been really amazing, honestly.
Well, Jake, congratulations with This Is What Heartbreak Feels Like. Thank you again for taking the time to talk to me. And I'm sure you and I will be reuniting sometime soon for maybe a body of work.
Hey, we'll see, man. I appreciate you for having me. Thanks so much.